Three, two, one. Juice.
And Air Rock Sauce. E2 Performance. Welcome back to another episode.
There you go.
Of E2 Performance.
Why do you got a whiteboard in your hand? Eljay's internet is the trash. The super trash. Oh, there he is. Sorry.
What did you catch? Or did I just cut off right from the beginning?
No, we got you saying E2 Performance, and then I asked you why you have a whiteboard in your hand, because you always have whiteboards in your hand.
I don't know. I like writing stuff. Whiteboard, notebook. I got lots of stuff. I always write.
What we talk about today?
We are going to... There's some thought in my head that I will not say, but...
I don't know how you got anything dirty out of that. You're the one who's smiling.
That's an inside.
Like the schoolboy.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's change the topic now.
Okay, today we're going to talk a little bit about environment and a topic we've talked about a lot, which is like building habits. There's lots of different ways to build habits. Some of them are based off of your environment. I've also researched one called a 2-day rule right now, which is whatever habit you're trying to do, you're allowed to take a day off, but you're not allowed to take more than 2 days off. So if that's something like reading 15 minutes a day, you read today, tomorrow, and then you're allowed a day off. But if you took yesterday off, you have to get that done today. So there's like a 2-day rule in regards to building habits. Some people say it takes 21 days to build a habit. We're going to discuss the habit of your exercise, obviously.
So health and fitness during this crazy time of COVID-19.
Yeah. So I found, obviously, a lot of people that I speak to have they say they've lost the motivation to work out. They say they've lost the habit to work out, and they're going stir crazy, and it's every excuse in the book you could think of. But to make matters worse, not only have they stopped doing it, but they're also beating themselves up for not doing it, which is just keeps the vicious cycle going round and round, right? Like, you're no longer getting those good hormones, you're no longer getting the energy output, and then you're beating yourself up about it because you're not doing it. And people are definitely snacking and eating more trash. Even myself, who I'm not like normally that bad for like eating bad snacks, being at home more so, I definitely find myself doing like bored eating, or I also opt in for like beverages that have more flavor. When we're at the gym, I'm just drinking water all day. When I'm at home, I'm like, well, there's juice. I could blend a smoothie. I could grab like iced tea or coffee. There's so much more at my fingertips, and I'll always go for the option that tastes a little bit better.
Well, the funny thing with time and mind is it's either going to be occupied with something good or something bad. It's one or the other, but either way, there will always be something. So if you're not spending your time doing something that's good for you, 9 times out of 10, you're doing something that's bad for you. And again, we can argue and debate about that, but let's say if you're not exercising or reading or spending time with the kids or family, or if you're not meal prepping, and I'm not saying the world revolves around that. Obviously, we got to relax a little bit too at some point, right? But there's also a point where it goes overboard. And again, the point is if you're not meal prepping, and if you're not spending time with the kids, and if you're not doing this, if you're not doing something good, 9 times out of 10, you're probably just on the screen doing something that is very mindless, mind-numbing, and it's not contributing to what your overall goal is or your overall health.
Yeah. So to go back on topic here of like habits and our exercise, or just like our health and wellness habits, losing your environmental habit or your environment cause a big shift in a lot of people. It's also, you lose the social aspect of it. You lose the friendship or maybe the social accountability out of it. So it was more than just losing the environment. So it's no longer a question of motivation, but you no longer have that environment, which is like an essential key to building a habit. For instance, this goes for all habits. Like, I wanted to reduce my cell phone usage. When I wanted to reduce my cell phone usage or keep my cell phone away, I had to move it away from my nightstand so that I couldn't just grab my phone and lay in bed and scroll through everything. I had to put the phone across the room where I couldn't touch it. where some people have to put the cell phone in the kitchen so it's not even in the bedroom. You know what I mean? So it's setting up resistance or barriers to make that bad habit harder to achieve. Now we have a good habit in place of us exercising, and we have this extremely large barrier of COVID-19 drop in front of everybody that says you can't go to the gym, you don't have your exercise partner, you don't have your exercise classes, you're no longer seeing your friends, it's no longer social. Mm-hmm. Now, for the most part, it's just by yourself, and you're at home, don't have the environment, not feeling motivated anymore.
No equipment, nothing.
Yeah, no toys. And equipment's not needed, but the equipment adds a certain spice to the exercise. It adds a little bit of excitement.
That and it makes it a little easier because, again, I think training is always about resistance, right? We can argue that a lot of people don't really need a lot of external weight to be able to do have a proper workout, right? You don't need it. But again, there are some people that are so out of shape that they can't even do their body weight. So now you got to go lighter, but it's still an external weight. That's kind of where where the issue is sometimes, especially for training people right now through like just a remote training option.
Yeah. So for me, what I want to get on with this conversation as well is it's also a double negative. Not only did everyone lose they lost the environment, they lost the habit, the motivation, the toys, the social aspect, but to make matters worse, you talk to most of these people and they're kicking their own ass, talking about how terrible they feel, how they lost the habit, and they see themselves as like a failure because they're no longer doing it, or they're beating themselves up. So they've already lost something extremely positive, and then they're adding more negative on top of it because they lost something positive. Like, it's a double negative that doesn't need to happen. So when I tell people, like, you need to approach this situation with a certain like sense of like compassion and patience, especially when you're dealing with yourself, that mental chatter inside your own mind. You need to be compassionate with yourself and let yourself know that you lost a primary environmental key that was really holding the glue together. Because you don't have that anymore, you just need to start strategizing a solution on what you can do now going forward with the tools you have, rather than like just cook yourself being, oh, I lost this and I lost everything and I'm not doing it anymore.
And I think going back to basics, the way, like if it was me in that scenario, I think the number one would be just to plan and schedule. Like, plan a time that nothing else would be. Like, let's say there's always going to be work. Some people are working from home, some people are not. Some people are taking care of kids at home, some people are not, right? But if you just like block a time, whether that's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, that's up to you, right? To do something physically active for you. Like, let's say you live with Diane. Hey, let's throw a football like on the field for 30 minutes. Can you imagine how sweaty you get throwing a football? Sure, that's not the exercise that you were like doing in the gym, but that's an activity at this point.
It's different.
It's probably fun too. You probably enjoy it. You won't believe how much fun that is.
Yeah, football, right? Frisbee, or whatever. Yeah,
but it starts with to me, like, it starts with planning and scheduling.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you have that in place, I think that's number one. As soon as you have that in place, and then number two is basically, well, with the stuff that I have, with the environment that I have. Like, do I have access outdoors? Do I have access to stairs? Do I have access to like any external weight that I could possibly use? Like, if I don't know the answers to some of them, like there's all sorts of content out there, free, and some are charging, some are free. But again, with the technology that we have right now, information is overloaded online, like overloaded. Like, there's whatever question you have, health, nutrition, fitness, mobility, anything, there's always answer to that. So planning is first, and then just what can I do with the environment that I have?
Yeah, planning and scheduling would definitely be key. And some people, I think, are going to instantly say, oh, I can't schedule anything, or I can't plan anything. And I can understand with a grain of salt, but I could also say that you could probably push a little bit to make some better time for yourself. Like there's a happy medium balance between like, oh, I can't, and just throwing your hands in the air. And if that's your attitude, of course you can't, because you're not even going to try, because you've already given up.
Absolutely.
You've already thrown up defeat, right? In regards to strategizing, to your point, yeah, there's like remote training options out there where you could work with a professional. There's plenty of people all over social media giving out free workouts that you could tackle. Mm-hmm. There's tons of information on YouTube, or really great like follow along yoga videos on YouTube that you could tackle. Some are like 20 minutes a day. Like
some are easy, some are hard. Like depending on your level, you'll find something.
Yeah, so just strategizing like how you want to approach it. Whether, again, for me, when we talk about remote training options, like paying a professional to work with, if anybody's been listening to previous episodes, I've been doing meditation, and I actually paid for an app to do my meditation, and it wasn't cheap. It was $100 for the year. To me, that's an expensive for an app on my phone.
Mm-hmm. And you still have a coach at this point, don't you?
Yeah, I'm still working with a coach. But for me, like the coach aside, more about the meditation piece, the fact that I'm paying for it has created a financial investment where I'm more likely to get it done. So if you're one of those people where you think that resistance to your exercise is so hard that you need a financial investment to make sure that you actually do it because you're paying for it, then understand that that's just what you need. Like if you
fully commit and pay for it.
That's fully committed and pay for it. If you don't think you need to fully commit because you already like your exercise, if you already enjoy exercise and you kind of fell in love with exercise, maybe you don't need to pay somebody for it right now. Maybe you can just do some basic workouts, follow along some free content, whatever is going to work for you, like only you know, but you need to explore these strategies and figure out what's going to work best for you.
Yeah, the only thing about that is, again, depending, like you could be an average Joe knowing how to exercise with proper form, proper this, like you are good to go, but then you follow along someone who's like way advanced in not just training style, but even volume, right? Like injuries can happen if you are not ready.
Yeah.
That kind of volume. I think we talked about this on our last one.
Yeah.
That again, it doesn't mean you know how to run. You knowing how to run doesn't mean you can run a full marathon.
Yeah.
Right. So just keep the volume down, or at a more like, let's say 70 or 80% of what your capabilities are. But just keeping consistent at 80%, I think makes her 100% way better anyways moving forward.
Yeah. The other thing that everybody says, like, and just in regards to this whole situation, even if you've lost the routine of exercise, but you have an abundance of time and you're blowing said time away on, meaningless tasks like watching Netflix or whatever, which is fine. Again, we're not saying shame on you for watching.
I do
TV
it. Yeah.
Or relaxing. But what I'll say is something that we've coached our clients in the past is abs are made in the kitchen. It's an 80-20 rule. Like you can't out-train a bad diet. So now with all this excess time, now's the time to be learning how to cook, looking up different recipes and stuff, and starting to experiment with a better meal prep approach, or just getting in whole non-processed foods into your diet.
I would say I would put that. So schedule and planning, number one. Number two, knowing what to do. Because again, some of us enjoy fitness. Some of us like just being physically active gives you a hormonal response that's like positive on you to make you want to do more good stuff, right? I think number three, or it could be interchangeable. It could be food first and then fitness, but definitely those two. Again, if you have an abundance of time right now, learn to do both, again, in an environment that is not very ideal.
Yeah.
I like that nutrition part. Good. Another thing I think that's very overlooked, and I mean, people with dogs, they probably know the feeling if you go for long walks and stuff, but walking, that's an essential thing that we don't say. Sorry, just like thoughts in my head. I can't even contain myself and start laughing. But when a lot of people say that, or you ask them like, what kind of activities do you do? Like, what workouts do you do? It's like, I go for walks, go for daily walks. And then you still see them, like, let's say, they're still out of shape. Because, again, walking is essential. Yes, walking is essential. But it cannot be everything that you do. Yeah. I would just say that right there, right? But right now, for people who was like so busy with their work, so busy with a lot of stuff, and then they're like going to the gym and just going super hard all the time. I just did a 25-minute walk to the gym today. 25-minute walk to the gym with a backpack with a couple of books and a laptop. I was drenched.
Yeah.
And again, my legs, you feel your glutes, you have your everything. It's like it's something that I don't normally do, and then I started doing it. All of a sudden, it's like some sort of a challenge now.
You were power walking though. We're not a casual.
Just a little bit. Yeah. So I mean, I just went, not really power walking, but just I went slightly faster than my normal pace. I'm not trying to go for it for time or anything. But it's like, you know what? I'm gonna walk relatively still in that comfortable range, but still like faster than my normal pace. But what I'm saying is, like, if you even add this, like for like mental clarity, just getting a little bit of sun, and again, instead of doing nothing or just like on social media scrolling or watching Netflix, even adding a progressively amount of walk. Let's say you start with 10 minutes today, 10 minutes this week, 15 minutes the week after, 20 minutes after that, and just to try and go every day. I think it's a good addition if you think about how many miles did I walk or what kind of activity I've done in addition to like the workouts and then the cooking. I think it's a good habit to adapt.
You think this walk just kicked your ass because you're in really bad shape?
I just don't walk a lot, I guess.
Funny story.
Not for that long. Because again, if you think about it, like seriously, and you've talked about this about some hiking stuff before. If I think about walking, and it's easy for me to walk today, right? It's that 25-minute walk was nothing, although I felt my muscles. If I think about doing that for 2 hours,
yeah,
I think I'm going to start to fall apart.
Even if you just listen to an audiobook while you're walking or a podcast like E2 Performance or something. Doesn't really help.
Is there any other podcast?
It doesn't really help to promote like our podcast within our podcast.
Right. But it's actually true. Like I think progressively putting in walks or power walks, whatever you want to call it, to your routine, I think is something very beneficial, man.
Aside from
something that we've been incorporating.
For anybody that has a little fitness tracker, I'm in a step challenge still with Diane, your wife, AJ, one of Diane's friends, and my client, Teddy. We've talked about Teddy before. On day one, the challenge...
Teddy's a beast!
The stepping challenge on day one starts on Monday. On Monday, I was pretty inactive throughout the day, and then at the nighttime, I got pretty busy, and I was moving around quite a bit, and I kicked up to like 15,000 steps, and I was like sweating that night, like I was working and like working around the house and doing stuff, and Teddy was at like 20,000 steps. Average person does 10,000.
He just puts his watch on his puppy and just lets him go, you know?
At the end of the week. So that was a busy day. Monday was busy. The rest of my week was pretty slow because I think I finished off at like maybe 45,000, and maybe I didn't wear it. Maybe I didn't wear it as much as I normally do. That's still a pretty shallow week. Teddy was still finished at like 75, 80,000 steps. Like he more than doubled everybody, and he's 75 years old.
And again, like him doing that for, let's say, how long has he been doing those walks? Probably years.
Yeah.
Right? So again, it's a good habit to have. It's just it cannot be all you do.
Here's a slight, I don't know if this would end the conversation, but a slight, I might have brought this up before. Remember me telling you that there's a slight correlation between the amount of steps you take in a day and depression?
I kind of heard you say that before, yes.
Somebody that takes many, many more steps, like between 15 to 25,000 steps in a day, they're busy. They're busy and they got shit going on. They're hustling to get stuff done, you know what I mean? Whereas somebody who's more depressed, they're going to binge watch more Netflix, sleep in way more, not move as much, be much more sedentary. So again, there's always exceptions to the rule.
There you go.
There's always exceptions to the rule in this case, and this is not a blanket statement, but just in general, you know, my steps have been down since we haven't been working. I used to pump out like 15,000 a day, and now some days I don't hit 10,000. Some days I'm at like 6,000 because I'm sitting down way more and chilling and doing other stuff. You know what I mean? So that's a correlation though of depression again, right? Like not being quite as active. It's weird. It's weird times.
Or just being active in general. Like, I think more active people, not 100%, but they got better hormones running in their body than the ones who work, sit in front of a computer, drive home, sit at home, not do anything. Again, not judging the ones who are not very active, but again, there's a correlation. I'm sure there's a study out there somewhere.
I'm not a doctor.
We'll find it for you.
It's science, you know.
We'll prove it.
It's science. You wouldn't understand.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, no. All right.
Are you still going?
Oh yeah.
I'm done with it.
Doing this all day.
Okay, what do you want to say?
No, just to touch on, it might be a different topic that we can talk about later, but I just want to put it out there. If ever the gym opens, or if ever all of a sudden you have equipment shipped to your house, I know a lot of people will jump in to like, oh, I haven't worked out in like 4 weeks. I'm going to destroy this workout. I'm going to destroy myself all day, every day. People, that's not the approach that you should be going for. A lot of people can potentially hurt themselves just going crazy. Just start moving slowly. Listen to your body. If there's any point in time that it's like best to listen to your body of how you're feeling and how you can perform, this is probably it.
I would also say to that fact, I've had some people approach me because I have a full gym set up in the garage. Some people have been like, hey, is this a good deal? Should I buy this equipment? Every single person who is considering buying equipment right now, in my opinion, unless you have $10,000 to $20,000 saved up in the bank, now is not the time to buy equipment. And the chances are when the gym opens up in the next 30 to 60 days,
you probably won't use it.
You're not going to use it at home anymore. And it's a different environment for me. I said this before. The garage gym used to be a play place for me to go and exercise once a week where I could spend 2 to 3 hours in there and just play and explore and move and have fun. Now it's almost a place of work and business where I'm like, okay, I got to change my mindset in here. The environment is different for me working out at the gym or working out with my coach versus me being by myself in the garage. Totally different mindset.
And that's from someone with a full setup.
A home gym, home exercise equipment, especially during this time, if you're just impulsively buying it because you're like, oh, I really just need to lift weights, like I need a bicep pump or I need to pick up a deadlift or something like that. Like there's so much activity out there you can do without equipment that's not going to cost you money. Like the only positive side of this is for somebody like me, I'm just going to watch in 3 months when all the gym equipment goes for sale on Kijiji, and then
start buying
it all up. When people buy this product for $200 and they say, "Oh, I want 180 for brand new," I'm like, "No, man, I'll give you 80 for it." I'm buying this shit for less than 50%.
Yeah. On that note, I think, and we talked about this. I think we had Denza and Steve on the podcast. Like basics, though, maybe a couple of dumbbells, and then like any pulling system, like a TRX or a band. I think if you have that, it goes along. Don't go if you're gonna buy stuff. Don't go crazy. Just get basic stuff.
We talked about like what would you spend money on? Yeah, like some kind of pulling system, whether it's a pull-up bar or a TRX row or some kind of
pushing is very easy to do, like body weight.
Yeah, and you can still attack your hamstrings and glutes without a lot of equipment. It's mostly just upper back that you're limiting here. So any sort of pulling system where you can just do a pull-up, it's nice enough outside, go and do it on your tree in the backyard.
Yeah, pull up or a row. But yeah, don't go crazy if you're going to buy stuff. And again, don't go crazy. As soon as you get that equipment, don't destroy yourself, please.
You know what's an underrated piece of equipment that's nice and tight for home? Parallettes.
Yeah.
Because you can do rows off them. You can do dips.
You're talking about a higher parallel, though.
Or, yeah, higher ones for rows.
A higher one for home. Like I have a short one for home.
Yeah. The higher ones you could do rows off of, though, like an inverted row and stuff like that. like lots of different abs and pulling, pushing. It's good stuff.
That, and again, I've been playing with, I guess you could have that. You could have that parallel, maybe a couple of dumbbells, and then again, like a medium weight sandbag actually goes a long way. Like a sandbag you can buy like with handles and stuff. I played around with it.
You fell in love with one recently, the Rogue one.
Yeah, like I did a full body workout. Just
two handles here, one in the center, two on the side.
Two on the side, yeah.
You get a 50-pound one as multi-purpose.
And again, if it's for home, and let's say, it's like -40 out there, I don't want to go to the gym. The versatility of a sandbag with those handles, man, it is unreal.
I just see like, bro, with your sandbag, just yes, holy! It's only bigger when you went close to the camera. Everyone's bicep looks large when you're this close.
Yeah.
Oh.
But so for home, any pulling system, couple of dumbbells. If you can have like 2 sets of dumbbells, like one heavier, one lighter for accessories and stuff, and then like a sandbag, man, I think most homes would be okay with just that.
Yeah.
And then obviously get some coaching to get proper movement.
Yeah. So what I say, take this with a grain of salt when I say now is not the time to invest in equipment. What I'm saying is it's not the time to invest in full plate set, full bar, like full spectrum. Like if you want to get like a skipping rope and a TRX and a couple dumbbells, money. But still, this guy was selling, somebody showed me something, he was selling 90 pounds worth of plates. So I'm talking some 2.5, some 5, some 10s. So 90 pounds total, a weight tree and a bar, $300. And they were shitty plates.
Probably a shitty bar too.
Now, for those of you who actually are wanting equipment, quality plates, brand new from Fitness Depot that I got, nice rubber coating on them, $1 a pound. I buy 2 5-pound plates, it's $10.
Yeah. And even if you go to like bigger brands, let's say Rogue, or other brands out there, it's not like, I think they're like a $2 something per pound. So if you're just like, no, don't go on Kijiji. It just,
you're better off.
I guess at some point people will be misled and I just want the weights. I don't care about the price right now, but
yeah,
there's other things.
If you got the finances for it, I guess great, but it's such a, it's one of the biggest depreciating assets you can buy.
Well, not only that, especially if you're not going to use it after. Right.
All right. Let's wrap this baby up.
All right. How do we do this? Follow, subscribe, like, share.
Yes. E2. Oh, geez.
Beyond Movement.
Beyond Movement. E2 _ performance on Instagram. If you like this content, you love it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is a brand new channel, so we do need subscriptions. If you made it this far through the video, leave us a comment. That matters to us a lot. Hit like. Show Eljay some love because he's sad.
Yeah. And if you're still listening to this point, I want to put out like a day where we answer questions. It doesn't matter if it's regarding health, fitness, COVID, or whatnot. Maybe we can do an episode for questions. So we will post that on our Instagram, and then we will discuss that probably in a week or so.
Ask us anything. Okay, goodbye.
Love you guys.